Welcome Facebook Live, and welcome to anybody who's going to be watching this on Rumble, Substack, BitChute, YouTube, because I'll put them out to all of them now. So which I'll go to in a second, because I've learned how I have to talk here to get through kind of the nonsense out there and everything else, which I'll talk about in a little bit more. It's Dr. Jason Dean. Happy Monday. Have you ever just don't know what day it is? Now, I know what day it is. However, do you enjoy what you do so much that you kind of forget the days? A couple weeks ago when we were out of town, I didn't know what day it was. And it's kind of fun that way. It's kind of fun when you don't know what day it was. Not living for the weekend. Too many people live for the weekend. Now, I enjoy the weekends, and sometimes I have them off. Sometimes I don't have them off. But you have to enjoy. The problem is so many people are not healthy enough to enjoy their weekends, their weekdays, any and all the above. Someone asked me today in one of the other comments on a post, they said, hey, can you do more politics? No, I cannot do more politics. I will share with you how I will do politics, but I'm not doing politics because, quite frankly, if you haven't figured this game out by now, I don't know what else to tell you. I'm not going to mention names here because I've learned how to play into this game in this system, right? I'm not going to say who it is, but I've seen that people here on this platform are no longer on this platform because there's a lot of things you just can't talk about here. Now, for many of you who don't know me, a lot of people are new in this channel. A lot of people are new in the Rumble channel, the Substack channel. A lot of new subscribers coming in, which is great. We love that. But if you know, I was here, my gosh, 2010, 2008, 2005, up to 2020. 2021, I was erased off of all of these mainstream social platforms because obviously I was talking about stuff you couldn't talk about at that time, right? Justin, I appreciate you watching out there. Now, I get comments and messages behind the scenes to talk about certain topics, and I'm not shy of those topics anymore. I'm just not going to talk about those topics here because, as you have seen, people get booted, right? And I learned this over the last many years, right? I used to come on here and rant. I used to get fired up. I used to go against the system, against the man, against the whatever, right? Big brother, you name it. Appreciate you watching, Danielle. And I've just learned it's not worth it. And the reason why it's not worth it is I will continue posting here parasites, female health problems, hormones, blood sugar issues, diabetes, etc. Now, for some of you, that may sound boring. And don't worry, it's not going to be boring. I will find ways to keep you intrigued on those health topics. But keep in mind, everybody, cancer is still number one. No, I'm sorry. Back up. Cancer on my mind. No, sorry. Cardiovascular disease is still number one. Cancer is number two. Diabetes is number three. I think Alzheimer is right behind it, number four. Liver problems, so 90%, actually it's probably over 90%, 90% of America is either full-blown diabetic or they're pre-diabetic, which let's just call it diabetes. If you're pre-diabetic, you got a diabetes problem, right? Danielle, there's definitely human parasites out there. Lloyda, thanks for watching. So I will make it interesting, but I stick to the basics here now because I know how the social media game works. Now, that doesn't mean I don't know about the deeper stuff. That doesn't mean I don't study the deeper stuff. So what I will do, I will continue talking about the deeper stuff health-wise. I'm not going to the politics. Politics, it doesn't matter, guys. Like, work on your local politics to make sure your communities and your families are fine. But the federal politics, you're not really swaying that too much anymore. I know that sounds terrible. Maybe I'll talk about that a little bit more on the other platforms. I'm going to keep this basic here because we have people to help. And yes, it will be toxicity. It will be parasites. It will be metals, molds, you name it. Hormone problems, because it'll be liver, because the country is diabetic. But for the other stuff, I'll put it on Rumble and Substack where you can have it. And then I'm working on another project where you'll be able to get that elsewhere as well. Graham asks, can you give us a solution for a full body detox plan? Graham, great question. I'm working on that. Actually working on that this morning. We'll hopefully have that out within the next couple of weeks to a month. That's my goal, okay? Yeah, that's right. No one wants to be brainwashed by the news. I get it, Danielle. That's why there's no reason, you guys, if you want to go watch the news and watch, there's plenty of influencers out there talking about politics. I just have zero interest in talking about it anymore. I know what's going on. I keep it. Here you go. This is what you need to know. How to keep yourself healthy. How to keep your finances in order. So, God, family, health, finance, right? And health should be with family. It's kind of like the same. Not that it's more important, but you got to be healthy to enjoy your family. All right? So I'm not going to throw out all the things that will get you thrown out of this social system on the Facebooks, the Instagrams, etc. So I know some of you may try and say, oh, talk about this. So-and-so is not here anymore. I'll talk about it elsewhere where you can talk about it. And again, that's not me bowing to the system. That's me playing the system. I have learned in my many years now, I'm still young, but I have learned which battles to take on, which battles not to take on, okay? It's not worth it. There are too many people to help with their health. Guys, I'm working on a detoxification program. Now, we have the Full Moon Protocol, Parasite Protocol, drjasondean.com. You can go over there. It's right on the front page. drjasondean.com. One word, no period after doctor. drjasondean.com. Can't miss it. A bottle of 3 liquids. I'm actually going to be putting also in there, probably this week. There's actually a whole food supplement now that I have that's for biofilms. So if you're trying to eradicate biofilms, I'll have a supplement there that's for biofilm destruction. Get that out of the body as well. And then I'm working on a large overarching detoxification program because I know a lot of people, and when I say detoxification program, everybody, I'm not talking about low-level detox. I'm talking about actually cleansing, binding, flushing the system. Your gut, your colon, your small intestine, your liver, flushing the brain. Would you like to flush the brain, get that stuff out of there? Yeah, let's do it. Lymph system, 100%, all involved, okay? Now, interesting question that came up that I want to talk about a little bit today, okay? Yeah, Graham, I will have a course that's going to be detoxification. So I'm going to put out a course that is also a detoxification course. If you want to take classes, my wife is probably the best one to take classes from. You can go to qntacademy.com, QNT. Q is in quantum, N is in natural, T is in testing, so quantum nutrition testing, academy.com. You can go there, you can get her courses, okay? She teaches a lot of this stuff. Detoxification, the course will be put together. Can you transfer from mom or dad to the children? Now, I'm talking about everything. I'm talking about from parasites to toxins, molds, metals, microplastics, you name it. Can that transfer from mom over to baby? And can it transfer from dad over to baby? Great question, right? 100%. Now, here's the problem. Females, you have a reproductive system that is very vast. You have hormones that are completely involved with all of this stuff. Now, let's just talk about a couple basic organs today. You have the ovaries, right? The eggs are made in the ovaries. They then descend down into the uterus, right? If it is, if the sperm meets the egg and we get the baby started, that implants into the uterus and creates the child. Now, here's the problem. Whether it's heavy metals, whether it's molds, it's microplastics, doesn't matter. 100% those toxins, including parasites, including bacteria, can be held in the ovaries and can then be in the egg as well. I know that sounds crazy. 100% it can be. So what happens is that egg comes down the fallopian tube, drops into the uterus, still has it in there, still has the toxins in there. So then that baby is growing. Now, it's not that it's going to take over, but 100% you can have a baby that comes out, and yes, they have the toxins in them. They have the parasites, they have the bacteria, you name it, okay? 100%. 100%, yes. Victoria says congenital Lyme. Yeah, absolutely. Guys, it can absolutely be transferred. I'm going to give you a small story here in a minute that is actually part of my story, okay? So yes, 100%. Also, the uterus can hold on this stuff too. And it's in the bloodstream. So yes, mom can absolutely transfer anything and everything that they have into the fetus, into the baby. So when people are asked like, wait, but my baby never had any injections, never had any medications, never had anything, why are they showing up for parasites? Why are they showing up for mold? Why are they showing up for toxins? Came over. Don't let that stop you from having children, but just know that is absolutely 100% possible. Also, breastfeeding, 100% it transfers over. Yes. All right. 2. So we had the ovaries and uterus. Yes. Bloodstream. Yes. Because obviously the placenta. Placenta. Yes. That can all transfer over. And the heavy metals are nasty. Like mercury, lead, 100% can be transferred over. We've seen it. Now, here's the other part. Dads. Now, I am not saying that those toxins, but this can be true as well, that those toxins can go through the sperm and also be transferred. Yes. However, we are electrical bodies. So yes, 100%, again, energetic or electrical imprints can also go over. It's an entirely different story. I'm not going to go deep into that today because that would require its own courses and seminars on that as well, right? And it's not something I read into deep. I just know about it. So yes, that can all transfer over. So let me give you my story, part of my story. I remember, my gosh, 10 or 15 years ago, my wife was doing muscle testing on me, and she was testing, and she got to my liver, and my liver showed energetically, frequency-wise, it showed for Hep C. Now, slow down. I told her at the time, I said, well, I don't know that's possible because I've never done anything, nor do I have a past that has anything to do with Hep C. I've never done drugs in my life, don't have tattoos, no crazy sexual stuff. Now, family history, that's an entirely different situation. I don't have any past history of that myself. However, in my family line, there is a past history of that. So I don't have that. However, did that transfer from a parent over? And I don't have enough history on that myself. So I'm assuming that was because I don't have the personal history, right? Now fast forward a little bit. Now that showed up, right? Nothing horrible, but it showed up. And I remember for the longest time, I didn't want to do coffee enemas at all, right? And I've done a handful in my life. I finally decided to do a couple, right? So the first time I did it, got kind of used to it. It's weird. I don't recommend against them. They can work very well. So my second one that I did, now keep in mind, with coffee enemas, you're allowing and giving permission to the liver to release. So I remember doing it, and when you're done, you go to the restroom, you sit on the toilet, and you exit out, obviously, the coffee, the water, and anything else that decides to come out with the liver releasing. And I was the only one home at the time, and so I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I start getting, my temperature starts rising, meaning fever starts, like I'm starting to get hot, but at the same time I'm getting hot, I'm sweating and I have the chills. Like when I say chills, like bad flu chills. And I'm literally sitting on the toilet at the time. This is, again, 5-6 years ago. I was shaking and shivering on the toilet. And I was like, what is happening? I went through about 5 minutes of that, and then everything calmed down. I released everything out. I got up, and I walked around the rest of the day like nothing had happened. I was like, what was that? Now, my wife got home, and I go, you wouldn't believe what happened. She was like, what? I go, so I did this enema, and remember I tested a long time for the Hep C, and I told you, like, I don't know where that would come from. She was like, yeah. I go, so I did the enema today, and I went into the legitimate shakes, like flu, like it was like an addict recovering, right? And I don't have any addiction stuff in my life, ever. But there's addiction in the family. Alcohol, drugs, you name it. So she's like, that's really interesting. I'm like, yeah, better out than in, just keep flushing it. So fast forward, I start taking out a lot of detoxification products. NAC, N-acetylcysteine, milk thistle, and I start playing with different dosages. I take it about an hour later. Now, it wasn't horrible, but about an hour later, I start noticing a subtle, not explosive, I can feel the subtle same thing happening. Temperature slightly rises. Again, not like it was with an enema, because it was just supplementation, it was small dosing. It was slight fever shift, no chills, but I could feel them underlying coming on. I could feel the bubbling. I could literally feel that same thing occurring, but at a smaller level. So instead of like 10 out of 10, where I'm like on the toilet, like can't make it, and shivering and shaking and sweating, there's a 10, it was a 1. It's like, oh man, okay. That means they're sitting in the liver. Now, that's partially my story, which I'll go into more as I clean that up even more. However, I have another woman, 52, 53 years old, super healthy, looks like the picture of health, works out, muscle, eats great, like ideal. We did a tox burden test on her. And when we did it, and it's a urine test, about 10 different toxins came back on the tox burden test. Like, interesting, right? And some similar things, like some molds, glyphosate, some metals, like obviously not good, but things we've seen. So we started flushing her out, and then she started launching into a deeper detoxification. N-acetylcysteine, glutathione, milk thistle, seleniums, and more. So she does that. She starts flushing herself, right? About a month later, she retakes that test. And instead of 10 toxins, not 10 anymore, there were about 10, 20, 30 toxins. It like a laundry list, 3 times the size. So I talked to her and she's like, what is happening? And I go, this is very interesting, really fascinating. I said, this is what I think is happening. Everybody, you do not truly understand what healthy is. I don't truly understand what healthy is. There are levels of health. And I believe the entire human population, for obvious reasons, not all are doing. We are on like level 1 of health if you feel good. And there's like level 10 of health. And we have never even seen or experienced anything in between. I told her, we know this for sure. We know that toxins, parasites, pathogens get stored in fat cells. We know that the liver tucks them away so your body doesn't have to experience them anymore. Your organs will tuck them away, right? Like the liver literally puts it over in the corner so you don't have to deal with it anymore. But that doesn't mean it's gone, and it doesn't mean it's not affecting you. And then your bowel keeps recycling. Your gut keeps recycling itself. So you're re-experiencing the mold, the metals, the chemicals, the parasites, the bacteria, and everything else. And I told her, I said, we gave permission for your liver to start releasing all the unknown things that were in there that if we hadn't done this, you would have never known were there and would have left alone. Now, that's somebody who's every day working very hard to take care of themselves. The average person in America, again, 90%, 90, diabetic and pre-diabetic. Well, the liver is the key organ that handles blood glucose regulation, blood sugar regulation. Guys, detoxification, we're not even remotely close to where we need to be, technically. And so we're going to be working on that. I am working on a course and a major protocol to start diving into it, because you can't go full bore right up front or you will literally feel like death warmed over. Been there, done that. I understand it. Okay? So, everybody, think on that. We'll talk more about that this week, obviously, and we'll have to do questions this week as well. You'll see this on Facebook. You'll see it all over on the other social media channels. And again, I'm not going into crazy stuff here in this platform, because the crazy stuff will get you booted out. So you can go check things like Rumble and Substack for the crazy stuff, BitChute for the crazy stuff, obviously. And this stuff here is going to be, I don't want to say basics, because we went more than basics today, but we have to help a lot of people, and this is one of the platforms they're on, okay? So that's what you're going to start seeing. Doctors would say, Elizabeth said, doctors would say, leave it alone. It's not doing anything. Don't mobilize something that doesn't need to be mobilized. Yeah, 100%, Elizabeth. Yeah. And that does not mean it's not affecting the body in a negative way. And I believe it's truly holding us back from our true capabilities and potentials of health. What could you feel like living here this go around? What could you feel like? What is your true health potential? And I personally believe you will not probably hit your true spiritual potentials until the body is also being cleaned out heavily. That's my personal experience. Graham, do you still deliver to UK? Because it says saying I have to change address. Yeah, we could send to the UK. We'll have to do some things to get around that if we need to. But yeah, we could. So everybody, stay healthy. More help is coming. All right. I want you to have a great rest of your Monday. And as always, love, serve, and help, as I always say. Love, serve, and help the best you possibly can. Head over to drjasondean.com. If you need the full moon protocol, drjasondean.com. Again, more detoxification courses and protocols coming, so hang in there for that. And check all the social media channels. We'll put out content. And some of the crazy truths, again, will be over on some of the other channels where we know are more safe than we'll talk about the basic stuff here, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. I'm Dr. Jason Dean. Be well, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.